very, very good battle because you had 2 weeks to prepare it. Okay. It should be good. So we might postpone it of a week, or what do you prefer? To have a week more, but I will be really, really demanding a very good performance, or 1 day more and you do it on Tuesday?
We have that problem that we told you. If you can solve that problem, Tuesday.
You solve your problems, and you can talk in a day about that problem, which is about your performance, but I'm not playing for one group or the other. So let's see, I'll think about it. Also because there is a guest next week for the battle. So that might do 2 lectures rather than a battle. Another thing is there are some students that for visa permissions, things, have not been attending the class in the last, the previous classes. So this is more than 6. Means without counting the first 2, it makes 8 classes before, so it's more. For those that arrive late, to be fair with the others, if they want to be attending, I will assign them a new board. So for those that ask me, oh, we just arrived this week and we would like to attend the class, my proposal with Andrea is we assign to these students to be, since you have been attending, most of you, almost all of you, for all the classes, I will ask to those that want to attend the class now to do an additional. Okay. Let's start. So, Thomas, what should we write? Yes. So today we finished to talk about organizations. Oh, you don't need to do this. I don't know. With certainty there, you have 4. No. That's organizing. 1, 2, 3, 4. So you have certainty, uncertainty. So we said last time that in a situation, in a context of certainty, what is the organizational form to talk about? Certainty. What's the typical organizational form? The market. So we have the market. Try to optimize space. So in the market, there are autonomous actors. They all have a knowledge. They somehow optimize their own knowledge. They compete. And the one that has the best knowledge wins over the others. You don't have a problem to pull them together, to divide the knowledge work. Everybody is a sort of optimal knowledge actor. And I was making as an example the stock exchange, where there are different players on the market. Each of those is competing because they have their own knowledge about the market, and you decide to bet on the best one. This is one abstraction, of course, but the market is quite of a metaphor. If you think about the case studies we saw in the class, you remember the EIT battle?
Yes.
Was EIT against? Excellent universities. So you have a market of excellent universities, and if you are the funder, in this case the European Commission, you give the money to the best one. So you have different entities out there. They are competing. There is a knowledge market. The best one gets the money. This is the excellent universities approach. Please.
Okay, the problem that we don't actually know if the test is not involved in that certainty.
Of course. Well, but that's, of course, that's a model. Doesn't mean that it's an abstraction,
Oh,
okay? Because of course, if you put an excellent university there, then the university inside is organized as a what? As a in uncertainty. What is the organizational form we said?
Was it matrix?
There are different types, but we said in general you have a market, you have a hierarchy. So you start what? Pulling inside the boundary of the organization other actors. Please. What? You want to close the curtains? How do you do that? If anybody is able to do that?
don't trade.
Would you volunteer to pull down the curtains?
Yeah.
Many basketball guys. Fine with you.
Okay, let's go on. So we said, if there is an uncertainty and everybody can manage just a piece of knowledge, then you start saying, well, work for me. Because if you work for me, all the people that will work for me will start handling a piece of knowledge. So you start building what we think is traditionally an organization. You make contracts with people, people work for you, each person, or it's put together in units, and the units are organized in different ways. We talked about the functional organization, the divisional organization, the matrix organization, the service-oriented organization. There are different models there. But the logic is that you make a contract with others to share the knowledge work. While in the market, everybody is free to do their own, in an organization, I start saying, you have to manage human resources. You have to manage production. You have to manage the marketing. And within the marketing, you say, you scan that market. You scan the other market. And you start giving tasks to people. And everybody manages a piece of knowledge. Because there is uncertainty, as Simon says, we have computational limitations. We cannot handle all the knowledge. So we divide it. And we create a hierarchy. And I gave you an example of hierarchical organizations. I was giving you also, because I think it's good, an example that is connected to your daily life. What is the example we make about the hierarchy in your life? Well, you can see the university as a hierarchy.
Family.
What?
Family.
Wait, the university is a hierarchy, correct? Who is the boss?
Director.
What?
Director.
The rector. And is it divisional? Is it functional?
Every.
It's a mix.
Yeah.
Divisional is by, say, production lines or products, engineers, economists, sociologists, cognitive scientists. And then functional is you have one administration, IT services, legal services. These are the functions. So it's a kind of a matrix organization, the university. Meaning that not every researcher can do all the knowledge on its own. You start splitting the job. And you build that. So the university is an example. What else? What?
Family.
The family. It's important. Do we have contracts with the family? Let's talk about the traditional family. Because one issue is that family is changing today.
Yes.
And we go to ambiguity.
Yes, we have contracts. There's first of all the marriage.
The marriage. So you do a contract with your wife, and the wife makes a contract with you. There are duties, responsibilities. You decide to share your common properties or not to share. There is a contract. Is there a legal, so contractual consequence on the children. Yes. According to the law, the children cannot take decisions on their own up to the age of 18 in Italy. Other countries might be different, but there is a law. And the parents, the genitors, are both responsible for the education of the children. There are a series of legal consequences there. And what about grandfathers and grandmothers? Is there a juridical bound? What is called the inheritance right. I buy a house, I leave it to my son, but at the condition in my testament that I will live in the house. So there are a lot of juridical and formal bounds to build this hierarchy. It is a hierarchy. Who is the leader in this hierarchy? Somebody says the dad, somebody says the mommy. It's a kind of, again, a matrix organization. You have two leaders there. One that is more focused on, I take the money home, don't bother, and the other say, hey, don't go to spend the money out and be careful. But there are leaders. There are operations. It's a hierarchy.
I have a question.
Please.
Is it always true that looking at the percolation theory, things fall from the top?
Given, sorry?
The percolation theory, things percolate from the top to low. The high power people empower people who are under them.
Mhm.
The power flows from top to low. Like you said, grandfather gives their property from them to his son, and his son gives to his son. So, can you give me an example of a similar percolation example? It goes from the down to up.
From the down to up. Maybe when we go here, we'll see. Because here, the process is rather top-down. So you have the leader who has the vision. Given the vision and the money or the resources says, you execute this. You design your plan, and you assign it to the operations. So you have typically the top management, the middle management, and the operations. This is from Mintzberg, famous researcher, these are the three levels. Top management, that makes the vision. Middle management, so the executives, the white collars, and the blue collars. Top down. But we go to only one after. So this is maybe the flow traditionally is here. The flow up is just control here. So you check whether somebody executed what is supposed to execute in the right way. So I give you the task, you execute the task, you do a report, and I check whether you do a good job. But I'm not really asking you to give me knowledge and to give me something more. Okay? So, here the main driver is in the market, I would say on the spot transaction. You make transactions. Say, okay, I want to buy petrol here. Who offers? I offer. Contract. You buy. Ciao. Done. Transactions. Okay. Here, what do you have mainly? You have routines. In an organization, you have practices, routines, how you recruit the people, how you work in the family. What are the family routines? Sunday at lunch, we eat together. You have to be back at home at 7, and you have to go to bed at 10. So you have many routines. You have example of family routines?
Cleaning. So for example,
Somebody does the cleaning.
Saturday cleaning, everyone has
Saturday cleaning.
chores that they have to do.
Then holidays are 2 weeks in August, and we used to go there. Nobody questions very much the routines up to the moment they work. Correct? This is the way we do things here. If you want to stay in this family, you gotta be in lunch, please.
I don't understand the statement there that says
transactions are leaders.
No, are the trigger. I mean, what pulls together the organization here? What makes this market stay together? The transaction. When you go in a market, what pulls together the actors? The fact they do transact. Correct? What pulls together people here? The routine. So here is not about let's go to lunch together right, on the Sunday or let's go for holiday. You say, what can you offer to me? I offer you this. And you what you can offer me? I offer you that. Okay, you contract done. Do your proposal, deliver your service, finished. See you tomorrow. You're not critical. In a sense, you're critical up to the moment you deliver. But if you start becoming the only supplier, the only one that is able to that kind of application or software, is it better for me to do a transaction or to make you a contract for 5 years? What?
I didn't know.
I didn't understand.
I understand nothing.
What do you say?
No, transaction cannot be in the market.
No, I agree with you. Transactions are for the market. Is that what you're saying? Correct?
They are leaders of the market.
No. This is Thomas' interpretation. I'm sorry, I didn't look at that. Transactions are the trigger, I said the trigger, what pulls together the organization, not the leaders. Not the leaders, sorry, I have to keep an eye on So here you have on the spot transactions. When you become critical for medium term, you start incorporating the actor within the boundaries, within the organization, and you develop routines. And these routines are repeated till they work. Now, here, in what we call ambiguity 1, meaning that there are very different interpretations about the world, and none of them is true or wrong, we said that the model was the
Garbage can?
The garbage can. It's a possible model. Garbage can. What did we say about the garbage can? So here you have autonomous actors that are transacting. Here there are different actors organized in a hierarchy. Garbage can. This is nice. It's Smart Apps Garbage Can. No, Thomas, we know there are invitations. That's okay. So maybe somebody, it's not so wrong, because one of the examples of James March is that a soccer field with 3 soccer goals, 5 balls going around, sort of a garbage can. So what happens in a garbage can? What happens is that, as we said, things are completely unclear. Think about those battles. You can sustain one perspective, you can sustain the other. You can say Concorde is good or the Boeing 747 is good. Kennedy was a hero, Kennedy was not. And within the cases, we can see that in many situations there was ambiguity, like why this telegram from Khrushchev is a setup or he has a problem we need to help. There is a lot of ambiguity. And what we said in that situation, the organization fades a little bit. What sense? That you start having, as we said, what? First, decision makers. People that want to make decisions. Okay? You have problems. You have, come on, problems and solutions. And you have decisional. I will do a test next week, because if I repeat things many times, I said 4 things. Decision makers, problems, solution, and decisional opportunities. Moments where decisions are taken. Okay, let's make an example of a garbage can that is near to you and your experience. Can you find one? I mean, you're saying that there is a situation in which there are people that are supposed to decide. There are problems to be solved. There are solutions going around. Competences, technologies, whatever, solutions. Wait. And there are decisional opportunities, moments in which decisions are taken. And there are what we call temporal, temporal orders, meaning that those things match randomly. Sometimes the decision maker is there, sometimes he's not. Sometimes the one holding the problem is there, sometimes he's not. Sometimes the solution is famous and fashionable, sometimes it's not. Sometimes the meeting is postponed because there is bad weather, sometimes it's not. All these things have a temporal order. How many times you said, oh, he was, or I was, or she was in the right place, in the right moment? Did you hear this expression? Yeah. The person that had a solution found himself in a situation that was right because there was a problem at stake and the need to make a decision. And so it went. Think about your ethics. What is the battles? No, don't go. What is it, little garbage can you have been in? You that you have been doing the groups. Okay. Garbage can. What was your garbage can during the battle? What?
It was a team.
The team. Absolutely. Because if you consider your team, there was a temporal order. What was random? We assigned you to that team. That day, somebody could come to you had maybe a little meeting, somebody could not. Somebody had solutions in their pocket because this person has been researching or is expert on some subject. He's very much fond of computing, software, applications, and no. There were problems, yes, because in this situation there was the problem to defeat the others, and was the problem that was at stake in that moment. Were there decisional opportunities, your meetings and your engagement in the class? It was a little bit of a garbage can. If different people would have been there, maybe different solutions would have been there. And people would have been looking for different problems. And if it would have been done the week after, maybe somebody that had to go for a trip somewhere would have been there. And this person being there maybe would have the case to go for a different strategy to defend or attack. So the final outcome would have been different. So the work you did in the team was a little bit of a everything, or not. You that you had the experience within your team, was everything rational, planned, about sharing the work, or was a little bit within the team based on what I call temporal orders? What do you think? You'd be working in teams. We've been working in teams now. Cool. You? Yes. Was it everything planned within your team?
No, not at all. It was random.
It was random. Did the final outcome depend on who was showing up, who was not?
Absolutely, yes. From the meetings, we had several meetings, and the direction we chose to take, the slides we chose to make, and the speaker we chose, it all had to do with who attended, who had done research, who had some opinion, some information to back up their point during the meetings.
Mm-hmm.
So it was, yeah, totally.
Since the person was there having some information there, his information were pushed somehow. I don't know, in your teams, did you do the PowerPoint because somebody said, I'm good in doing PowerPoints? Rather than in other teams, that's said, oh, I don't want to do the PowerPoint.
We have a team member who's really good at doing PowerPoints.
So a solution looking for
Problem.
problem. I'm good at doing PowerPoint, or I'm good at doing something else. I'm doing it, searching this kind of information. These are all solutions looking for a problem. You are all solutions looking for a problem. Do you have a competence? Do you? At the fourth year of university, I guess something you have. Do you have a skill? Do you? Marty?
Sure.
For sure, you hope. You're a solution. Are you a solution?
A solution to a problem that.
You're not a problem. Are you a solution?
I'm a problem
You've been
looking for a
investing,
solution.
how old are you? May I ask? You are invested 22 years of your life in making your own solution. You have skills, you stay and think. Well, you have a competence, you choose a faculty.
We're a solution to a problem.
Also, now if I tell you your solution doesn't match with any problem,
It's not a problem, I create the problem.
you create a problem. That's it. I agree. You create a problem. So solutions are looking for problems because I have a competence here. I have something to say. Do you want to call it ICT Labs? Do you want to call it Digital EIT? We change the name, but the solution is that one, huh? Correct? Another example of the organization in a situation of need. I make you one. Who likes jazz? 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 Who's your preferred? Miles Davis, what? Frank Sinatra. Swing, jazz swing. Okay? You will say jazz?
I prefer English.
You prefer?
Independent man.
Independent jazz. There is a famous article from Cartwright studying, oh, this is an organization scientist, the Utrecht Jazz Band. Utrecht, whatever. What do you see in a jazz band? Improvisation. First of all, the team, the band is very, very often assembled front time. Not the same band. You have Chet Baker playing with Bill Evans or I don't know, various. Okay? So you have some people gathering. They all have solutions.
Skill solution.
One is good as a style, the other one plays the piano, the other one is something. Do you have a problem?
You're creating
What?
You're creating
Well, the problem is that you have to perform Stormy Weather from Billie Holiday. It's just one. Around midnight, you have a problem. You have to perform that song. But you cannot do the same one that has been done the week before by another jazz. Not at all. You do it different. You have a decisional opportunity. What is it?
Which one different songs like?
But what is the decisional opportunity? Where decision makers gather and make decisions. So now I play this, you play that. It's the concert. Because in the concert, you can see the concert like a business meeting. Yeah? In the concert, everybody has a competence or a solution. Everybody believes that there is a problem, the execution of the song. They'll be matching somehow randomly, yes?
Is this analogous to the demand and supply problem?
The demand and supply problem is everywhere, so specify.
You all have supply and you're looking for demand. You all have solutions, you're looking for a problem.
Absolutely, yes. Solutions looking for problems. We have been saying in the EIT case study that we can see as the EIT as a solution looking for problems. Or the kick. It's not bad. It's not bad.
So they are analogous, they are similar concepts. So demand and supply and solution problem. And
Yes,
problem is-
absolutely. I make the example of the jazz band because maybe it's near to what I think what you can see, or when a group of people gather together and play different instruments and they try to make a composition together. But this is, there are temporal orders, there are problems, there are solutions, supply and demand. If you think about the story of Concorde and 747, there are many temporal orders there. The oil crisis, it came and they had to make sense on how to sort it out. So there are situations where you have to do spaghetti. Indeed, one of the expressions that he used here is the spaghetti organization. It doesn't mean that, look, let's be clear. It doesn't mean that there are spaghetti organization, hierarchical organization, market organization. It means that in every organization you will find a bit of spaghetti, a bit of a hierarchy, and a bit of a market. And you can decide how you want to read it most. What is the main metaphor that you want to use to describe it? Because from that metaphor we derive what innovation is. You understand what I want to say? University, yes, there is a lot of garbage from here, a lot. There is a moment where it's very famous to talk about innovation, for example. It's a problem. There are many solutions, people with skills on digital stuff and technologies and whatever. There are decision makers, a lot of researchers and professors. There are decisional opportunities, conferences, meetings, classrooms, and so on. You can see the university as a garbage can. You can see it as a hierarchy. You can see it also as a market, where the best researcher gets the funding. Correct?
Admission to the university.
What?
Admission to the university. Even
The admission.
more.
But you can see the admission in 3 ways. The admission of the best. Admission because, well, you engage in the process, we know you, because you've been working with us in the last 2 years. Or that day, we launched the call for admission. You were sick. He was checking the internet. He put the request. He had a friend in that moment that suggested you, oh, I know that guy, put this keyword, and he gets it. Not you. Garbage can. Even in the admission, you can see the 3 perspectives.
So, I'm a little bit confused. We have not a solid
We are
example.
all.
No, about this topic, we have not a solid example for each of these definitions.
But, again, you have to distinguish. What is a metaphor? A map. To read something, and what is the something? Now, if you're, sorry I use this expression, if you're very ontological, you think that each of those corresponds to an object in the world. If you're a bit more epistemological, you think these are interpretation models for the same objects. I prefer to think these are interpretation models. To put the university, of course, the choice is which of those lenses you choose when you have to make a battle. I think that the problem at stake is here, is here, is here. Who provides you the best tools to speak, to be convincing, and so on? Here, here, and there. I will say after that these models are connected very much. They are not disconnected. They are not just different. One can feed the other. And I will say something about it. I just want to ask you something. What pulls together people? Here we said the routine, here we said the transactions. What pulls together people in a kind of chaotic situation?
Same problem?
Motivation.
Same solutions, then?
Same.
Motivation,
I would say interest.
interest.
Yeah, I think
Interest in what?
In a wide sense, it could be interest in money, power, in a goal to be reached, and I mean in very
You'll say preferences. I don't know.
Motivation again.
I think
What?
collective sense.
Think about your battle when you were in your team. Ask yourself, what could pull you together? Sorry.
I think it's collective sense because like each node or each particle have its own sense, and then
Based on that sense, they can be organized.
So a collective sense.
Yes.
Goal?
What?
Goal?
Goal?
Goal.
What is the goal?
Winning the battle.
Winning the battle. It's a kind of
Ambiguous.
how. Then. Please.
Temporal order, like you said the defect, like
Temporal orders make things like that, but in some sense, if you find yourself in a kind of a situation where temporal orders are driving, everything is random, it depends on who is there and who is not, who is solution. How do you say I'm part of something? Not just about randomness. Otherwise, think about also the psychological component. You are engaged in an organization where everything happens more or less randomly. How do you define the boundaries? Here we have the routines. They give you kind of, this is us, the routine. Here you have the transaction. We work like this. What pulls you there together? This is not from me. It's from research. What pulls you together? Identity. A common vision. You build something, a perspective, a framework, a point of view that pulls you together. You feel you belong to a vision. In the jazz group, people say, okay, we are developing a common vision about the performance we are about doing. In the University of Trento, we develop a common vision or identity that I belong to Trento. I was noticing in your battles that very often use the expression us. Us of Boeing, us of Concord, us of EIT, us of the excellent universities. But till 1 week before, you didn't even consider to be part of excellent universities or Boeing or Concord. But you were saying us. Correct or no?
Yes.
I heard it. What? I see your smile, and I'm curious to know.
No, of course, I have never seen about Concord. Even I didn't know about Concord before I was allocated. After that, when I was into it,
You became very passionate.
yeah.
I saw it. No, because we know because moves the Americans. Yeah. True. We do that. We sort of marry a vision that puts us together. We are. Look, being an engineer doesn't imply. You don't know if it's good or bad to be an engineer. You develop a vision that is good. What does it mean being an engineer? Take people studying economy. How do they dress? How do they dress? I remember when I was studying
Nice.
economy, we had the Department of Philosophy in front of us. And they were saying, throw away that necktie. How do they dress? People in study economy. Jacket, necktie. How do they move? Profit lines. And philosophers? They have an Eskimo. Like, let's do the revolution now. What does it mean to be an engineer? Is there a practice? Is there a kind of common identity? We do the codes here. Where is Mattia? She's here? Mattia, yeah, the other day when we met, I noticed that you used to do this. I tell you, engineers do this. Many. I know, I'm still trying to find, but you see, because if you do this and this, well, people from maybe economy will do like this. Simple. But you find that, what is code? Is the code? It's assembler? I don't know. What is it? Is the machine code? Yeah. So as engineers, to develop, to make sense about the world you are in, that is full of stimuli from the outside, full of confidence, do you develop a kind of, let's call it a fashion, that holds you together? Hey, we are the engineers. We do the hard job here. No engineers, no light, huh? So you can talk about economies and philosophers, but I mean the toilet will not work tomorrow. Huh? We are, and you use the computer, but you know, if we're not here. Forget your telephone. You have to communicate with the pigeons. I'm an engineer. Do you understand what I want to say?
Yeah.
It's your pride. It's my identity. This is who I am. When you have to explain to dad and mom why I chose engineering, because I want good stuff. While those that study economy say because there is a market out there, there is competition, and there is business engagement. Ooh, if you just go to here to a lecture on economy, they will tell you a lot of words like, because it's about performance and business related thing. When you will go to Eindhoven now, those that go to Eindhoven will be exposed to a lot of this economic business mythology. It's mythology. But they have their own. They have their own celebrations. Now, there is a very important field of study here, please.
I have a question. Do you think we develop that identity or we get just adopted? I mean, do you think it's a matter of adaptation or development?
We go to learning and innovation then. But what you can think is that, can you write, Thomas, communities, here, communities. You know about the community? You heard the word community? The local community, the community of the church, the scientific community.
EIT community.
What?
EIT community.
The IT community, we are a community. What is that? There is a lot of research here, okay? Paul and Wheat work in the research center of Xerox, in Park, it's called Park. Leib and Wenger doing analysis on the field in Nigeria with Zulus, I don't know. I mean, there are a lot of studies on communities. What hold together a community? That the moment you get in, and I will, if you want, devote a lesson to that, how the learning happens. That they start telling you, oh, these are the clothes. This is the way to walk, or to move, or this is the way to speak. These are the books that are worth having in your office, or in your hand. These are the things that are worth speaking about. This is the jargon it's worth using. These are the problems that are worth looking for. These are the solutions that are important to us. So you get engaged in this process, and in the research about communities, what you find out that when you arrive in a community, you are peripheral, meaning I don't know how to move here. And your goal is to become what? Central. To become part of the old timers, the one that are here since. Because the old timers, when they walk, when they speak, when they write, when they say something, they represent the community. You just look at them and say, wow, we know everything. That's good and bad. Because it's good that you have a path to acquire an identity. It's bad because if you don't acquire that identity, you're out. This is why communities are a very strong organizational tie through identity, but at the same time, they play a lot for what is called orthodoxy. The knowledge that should be known, the identity that should have. The problem is that If you have a different point of view, a different identity, you're seen as enemy. Who is this guy? Jacket, necktie, business here, business there. What is that? Come on. Go away. You're not able to repair the toilet. It's school. Community. And here we talk about, you can say, there are two, let's say, two main branches of study here. One is, I would call it the social one. They talk about identity. One is the cognitive one. They talk about interpretative frames. Call it cognitive maps, paradigms. I mean, the view of the world could be in the brain or could be in the being with the others. Social or cognitive. You don't have to go in that now, doesn't matter, but you can feel you belong to somebody because of the way you behave within the group or because you share a worldview. The two things go together. And we do develop those things. Now, let's jump to our big friend, ambiguity. Here we lost reality. You agree? We have different frames. Everybody can sustain the opposite. Martin.
But in this scenario, we didn't consider, in my opinion, the money. I mean, we said that people stay together for identity, but also stay together for money. Because the solution was both. So that's a different approach to identity. So should be another voice, or could be.
Where do they stay together for money?
I know you have the vision, for example, and you buy my service. Otherwise, our designer, as a programmer, I don't know. So in order to create your vision, and I can say I join you for some money because I trust your vision and I believe in your vision, or I join you because you pay me a lot.
But
There are two
the
different
question
things.
is money. We might go into that more because we will talk about social innovation, profits, and this kind of thing. So money. Is money sort of objective thing in the world, or is a construct of the Western society that puts value in money? In other societies, value is reciprocity. I can rely on you, you can rely on me. Friendship ties, social ties, this is the currency. Is money always the currency? Is it a matter of a perspective, or it's a given of the world? Money.
Okay, I love myself.
Well, I tell you that money could be seen, according to that perspective, as an identity of Western society. In Western society, we believe that our tie is money. In other societies, they don't believe the same.
So money for them is what?
It's a social construct. No, for philosophers, it's a social construct. For other societies, money is not what ties us together. No, not the reason why we work together. The reason why we work together, for example, is trust.
Yeah, that's one of the most important. But
Reciprocity.
okay, but I don't see the case when I work for you just because you pay me a lot.
But do you think that you work for somebody just because this body pays you a lot?
When I look
You
for
commit 10 years of your life? No.
when I look for a job, I look for a job in order to have a job that I believe to. But I know that in other occasions, other people make other choices. So
Other people.
So, yeah, okay. Yeah, no, so I was trying to analyze where to put this kind of scenario in this analysis.
Well, not to get too much into that, we might go back. But if you look at The Wolf of Wall Street, or look at the movie The Boiler Room,
Okay.
it's brokers in Wall Street.
Okay.
The money there is the symbol. It's not the tool. When you get $5 million a month or in a year, the money is the symbol. The guy goes there and throws the key, this is my Ferrari, and I did it at 30 years old. Huh? With the other side. It's the symbol. Gordon Gekko in Wall Street. Money is the symbol. Is it the tool? I mean, more money, so I do work and do more? Or is it part of the symbol in a kind of social context? Keep it there. Because we could discuss about this for quite a while.
Okay.
It's not taken for granted that money is really the tool to buy something. Is not the reason why you're here. My opinion. Not mine. Sorry, you wanted to say something.
Oh, actually, you described my opinion very well, so I have nothing to add now.
Please, anyhow, if you want to comment.
No, I mean, like, my thoughts were mostly similar to yours, so actually, maybe nothing more to add. No.
Good. Mark, it's not that I don't want to consider your point of money. If everybody say, let's talk about money, I can talk about money a lot. I just said for the time frame, in our temporal orders, keep money as a possible symbol of identity. I got the money. Then, of course, there are constraints as much as you need the food. But I tell you, the moment that there is a third nuclear war starting, people don't care about money and care about food.
Yeah, for sure.
In camps, not camps, that can be stored. No, I wasn't joking. Don't get angry. So who else somebody wanted to say something? Okay. Here, I understand Marty's point, and most of you were saying, hey, reality is not there. The organization is not there. It's a garbage can. I mean, you have decision makers going around, problem, solution, here and there, temporal orders, randomness. Where is the math? Where is the control? Where is the reality? Where is prediction? I mean, we are not continuous, but come on, where is reality? Then we said, there's a different kind of view on ambiguity that is very important, that I call ambiguity in the strong sense. We did example of this saying, for example, if you start in a class treating a child as mentally insufficient, you isolate the child, correct? If you isolate that child, will this child develop communication skills? According to some cognitive theories, if you don't communicate, you don't develop. For some, Chomsky, not the last, language comes before thought. If you don't speak, you don't think. Not a trivial point, huh? Sometimes language comes before thinking. Sometimes you talk, and after you think, yes, makes sense. But this is the example of a child. So you had a view based on some cognitive theories. You put an identity or a perspective. You put the child there because he needs a different treatment. All the schoolmates treat the child in a different way. So he will communicate less than others, for example. Then the child becomes cognitively insufficient. In the sense that he cannot or she cannot develop her cognitive skills. Now the issue is, here we said, information are out here. Here we said, information are searched. These are given, these are searched. Here we say, informations are just a matter of how you see things. The way I see it, this is worth, this is not. Here we're saying information are a product. We produce information. Here. You remember some examples we did about that, where the problem is no longer to what extent there is a world, to what extent we are able to, as Carville says, enact or enforce a world out there, where the information is the byproduct of acting. We did an example in the Cuban Missile Crisis, if you remember. What was the effect of the flights, low flights on Cuba? What could have been the effect? To check out where the missiles were. If you fly down with fighters approaching Cuba and you have all these soldiers there, the Soviet soldiers,
Yeah.
and they see these airplanes arriving, what do you think?
They would blow down the planes
They
and
will blow down the planes. Now, if you send the airplanes, you might think they have bad intentions, so I send my airplanes. Maybe they didn't want to be aggressive, but if they see the airplanes coming, they will retaliate. If they retaliate, then you retaliate, and then you go to the conclusion. So, being aggressive is a given or is a result of the action?
result.
It's a result. It's a result. Do you find in the case studies you did situation in which the information, the knowledge, what is out there, was the result of what happened? Take Bill Gates, Steve Jobs. Was it a given?
Information?
For example, that everybody wants a computer.
No.
It's not. But everybody had a computer. Now we can say that it's certain that everybody wants a computer. But that information was a given or a product? The fact that you feel glamour when you use the iPhone, is it a given or a product? Marketing, for example. Please, explain. How?
With marketing, they told you that have an iPhone is good, for example.
But does it have an impact, the fact that people that are cool have an iPhone?
Probably. In theory, no. In fact, yes.
Those that are cool have an iPhone. So the fact that somebody has an iPhone makes you feel that you want to have an iPhone. Because you can have a beautiful product that nobody has. You're not cool as much as having the iPhone 6. It's a thought. Other examples of this in the battles you have been doing. Concorde and Boeing. This is called self-fulfilling prophecies. Self-fulfilling prophecies. Example that a prediction is not real, it becomes real.
Crash of carrier.
What is a self-fulfilling prophecy?
The story took in the first lecture about Wall Street that the smart guy that was considered as one of the best go to the bar talking about that, and so the people was moving that direction on the other direction.
For example. Another example is the following. One of the issues in the battle, besides the winner and the no, but this Andrea will say, was the economic viability or convenience of a Concorde versus the Boeing 747.
Mm-hmm.
But, as an example I was making, how much is the cost of a component if you have 6 exemplars and if you have 2,000? Is it the same?
No.
No. So the point is the economic viability a given or a result of
So,
the story?
the result.
Because, do you have, I was saying to Marty, I believe, the example of the car. Do you have a car?
No.
Who of you has a car? Marty, you have, I know. Do you have a car?
Yeah.
Who? You. Which car?
Toyota.
What?
Toyota.
Toyota. Which model?
Land Cruiser.
Land Cruiser. Okay. If there is one Land Cruiser in the world, how much is the cost of an ashtray in the Land Cruiser? There is one model, one instance of the model.
It's gonna cost me like
A production line. If there are 100,
It's gonna be less,
if there are 1,000,
again, less and less.
and so on. So the economic viability of the cost of the car depends also on the scale of production. But the scale of production is part of the marketing, or how much you sell it, how much you engage the others, how much you're able to do politics because of the boom, and the rest. But at the end, the cost is a function of the actions.
Sir.
It's not a given. Please.
I want to say like the actual cost will be same, I think. In my
Sorry?
opinion, actual cost means actual cost means like to making the machines and everything. For example, if you take up the car, the actual cost will be same, but like for the profit and sales and other things, if you add, if you go to the market, then it will get distributed if there's more number of the cars.
Of course. But this is called, sorry, I come from economy, the fixed cost. So the variable cost, just to make you understand, since you study mathematics, so variable equal fixed cost plus, sorry, unitary cost plus cost variable. So the unitary cost of an additional model is the fixed cost, the factory, divided by a number of models plus the variable cost, the heating for the people that are working that day to do the car. Now, of course, this is the big number. If this is not, it's 1, basically your ashtray costs like the factory to produce the ashtray, plus the variable cost. If you have a number of those, this cost will reduce. Economies of scale. But this is an example of, it's not about economies of scale. It's an example of how economic viability, that is very often a topic that people use to talk about, this business is better than the other. Yes, thank you. But if you have a million of instances of something, of a technology, of course the cost is lower. So it's more efficient from an economic perspective. Okay, take 5 minutes. We meet again at 3:20 punctual sharp. To speak to me, 4:30, 1-to-1. Okay. Yeah. Okay? I guess that from what I heard, the battle will be Tuesday. Because this is your, think about it, you let me know. Some of you will come at 4:30 to tell me whether you do the battle Tuesday or a week more. Okay? Now, let's make an example. What is an example of an organization that, given a view of the world, makes it? Or wants to make it?
Can I make not an example, but my comments on big stuff?
Yes.
Because I don't really like understand what business do. You say that, for example, refer to Bill Gates example. So he created this world where everybody have a PC. But did he really create this world? But I say that there will be one opportunity for him to create new world, bring PC to everybody. He can't create new world like by some other way, make new like new technology, revolutionize world another way, because there is this.
Can you rephrase the question
Okay.
in a way that I can?
Okay, I would say that in this state of the world, in 1970s or something like this, there is an opportunity to create a new world when everybody has PC. So Bill Gates just use this opportunity. If Bill Gates not use this opportunity, someone else will use it.
Absolutely. But he did it. I tell you even more, in my opinion, was the joint work of Bill Gates and Steve Jobs, good friends, cat and dog,
Yeah,
to do it together.
but there is an opportunity. Someone will definitely take it. So there is no uncertainty or ambiguity in this world, because it definitely someone will take it because it gives high intents, high payoffs to revolutionize the world. For example, Bill Gates become a millionaire, and someone else who revolutionize the world become very famous. So everybody wants to revolutionize the world, and someone who takes this opportunity will.
But look, in your
So-
say statement, there is the root of ambiguity, because this is review, correct? You
Yeah.
said it was out there.
Yes.
For somebody would tell you, no, it was not. It was not necessary to go that way.
Yes, yes. That was necessary, but if I take this opportunity, he takes this one, the world will say, I don't like this one, I like this opportunity when everybody has a PC, and he, like the world himself, he cut off and bad opportunities. He only accept good ones. So
This is what I would call an ex post view, that he catch the good one. Keep it there, because this topic will go through this issue a bit more. It's not that you think of a world and you make it like that. I'm just saying that there are situations, this is why I want to make an example with you, because all these things are connected, where people think about a possible world and create the conditions for this view to be real. Okay? And if you take one of your battles, I'm sure that people would go on with the battle for days, days, and days, for years, years, and years, saying my view is right, your view is wrong. You say your view is right, my view is wrong. So there are situations in which conflicting alternative views of the world can coexist, unless you create a world in which your view holds. It's true. I cannot say, going back in time, whether your view was right or wrong. I can say that you made a world in which your view has been proven to be right.
but my claim is that it's one state, my vision of the world is right. You can change the world. You can change the world by only to make one action. Give PC to everybody. He changed the world, now the world is different, and you change the world.
Sorry, not to engage in a want to come to office at 4:30 if you want. No, it's not that I want to rule it out, but it was not one action. It's to involve producers, involve suppliers, build a corporate image, get financing, give the PC to everybody. Doing an open system is for plenty of actions there. I can't say that Bill Gates just said, okay, let's give a computer to everybody, and that was spread. I think he did quite a bit more, honestly. Otherwise, we will all be Bill Gates here. So, let's keep it there for a sec, okay? Because to put the hands in reality is not an easy job. It's not an easy job to change reality according to your worldviews. And we have many examples in technology development where a technology succeeds because people build a world in which it makes sense. We have still to do the Facebook case study. But I can tell you, and you study technology, that Facebook is not technically superior in general. But it creates a world in which if you don't have Facebook, you're not in the cloud. Correct? You gotta have Facebook. Yes.
So
But I would like to also to give you an example here. Please.
yeah, what I got from your actually fact is that ambiguity 2 is actually a result of ambiguity 1, right?
You can see it as a, let's make an example here, and then we try to connect. Because connections are there. I can tell you even that certainty, it's an outcome of ambiguity 2.
Yeah.
Because if you create a world that is there, now it's certain that 90% of people has an operating system like that.
Yeah.
So you create certainty. But certainty is a byproduct of ambiguity 2. So those things are connected. But to create a reality is not such an easy thing. Huh? Otherwise, we'll all be there. Say, the world for me goes like that. Make it. Now, look, let's take an example here that is always in our daily life. What is the organization that by definition has a view of the world that is different from the other or the others, and it makes its best to make it real.
A government?
A government which
Political
belongs
party?
to
A political party?
a political party. Wanted to say so?
I wanted to say the church. The church?
Religion.
Religions. Interesting. You have competing views, and one somehow makes it real, part of. But political parties, to me, are quite of an interesting example. Because do you think that in political parties, not by chance we did the parliament here, correct? What do you do in political parties? You have political members, right? What do the political members do? One is in a committee for standardization. The other one is in the committee for the environment. The other one is in the committee for privacy policy, and so on and so forth. So you start putting in, for example, what is one of the instruments we have to enforce reality? Legislation. Is it? You make a law, from that moment onward, kind of behavior, it's written in temporarily, if it works, in the stone. You make a law that if you want to drive a car, you need to have an insurance. It becomes true. But this is the result of a political process. Political parties, if you think about them, not because I like politics, but it's interesting, are a typical example where, by definition, in our society, we accept two views that are the opposite, one saying A, the other saying B, and they do it all along. Not, okay, you're defeated, well, then you go to dictatorship. But one of the principles of our modern state is that we are built on ambiguity, because there are always different views. Left, right, up, down, conservative, progressive, whatever. And they just don't talk about the fundamentals of freedom, but also technology, financing of research, environmental policies, education, healthcare, many domains, all the domains are affected by that. So, to me, the political party is an example of what Karl Weick calls an enacting organization. An organization that acts to create the conditions so that what is their belief is considered as true. It's temporarily true, maybe, because the other one can come after and change it. The battle there is to make it true as much as you can, and to enforce it as much as you can. There are some results of political debates that are still lasting after centuries. I make an example, pensions. They are here, pensions are a rule in modern states that have been decided more than 100 years ago. They're still there. Nobody says anything that you deserve a pension. Then they can debate on how, what, but there are some things in the reality, and this will impact on the money. Because when you go to the balance sheet of the company, one voice in your cost statement is pensions. It is. Is it real? Very real. Is it money? A lot of money. Was it in the world? No. It was created by somebody. Who made the example of religions? You? Can you make a point about that?
Well, it is pretty much in the nature of religion to be, well, at least in the monotheistic religions, to be exclusive. So every religion claims to be the only one that is true and the only one that brings us into heaven, or whatever we call it. So it lies in the nature of religions to fight each other, or to try and convince people of their own beliefs.
For example, one of the big terrain of fight, let's say, which has an impact on our real life and affairs, is the family. Correct? If you think about, we said the family is a given or a structure hierarchical. Then it's being questioned, and it's a matter of ambiguity. What is a family? are these kind of unions a family or not? Then somebody's trying to enforce a particular definition of what is a family. Through laws, through practices, through rituals, and so on and so forth. What is happening here is that again, in each organization, you can see all of those. You can think that the university is the university here. How? When you train the students and you tell them what is true and what is not, then they go out there. Then you do the funding for the project to develop some technology. This technology is pushed in the environment, and so on and so forth. The university tries to build around itself, locally, internationally, a world. A group of researchers do the same. The problem is that to change a world, you gotta have quite of a power, correct? It's difficult to say, hey, change the world. So you go, hello, ciao. You need allies. You need people to make it. You need laws to be changed. What is interesting here is that we go back to the concept of network. Sorry, Thomas. Here you have a market, kind of a network of autonomous entities doing, each of them, whatever they want, the best, optimizing on their own. This is a network, which is guided through transactions. Please.
Excuse me, it's a trivial question, but that's just because I missed it. It's called Dyke, D-Y-K.
Carl Weick. W-E-I-C-K. The paper is on the web. On the website.
W-I-C-K, okay.
Weick.
Yeah, because I was trying to, okay. I was trying to look for it, but
his
I
mate is Duff. Richard Duff, Carl Weick.
Okay. I was trying to look for it.
These
but
are the best
I didn't see
researchers on that thing.
Yeah, I didn't see the names.
So we're talking about a network here and a network there. I mean, if you think about, Bill Gates, he built a network anyhow, to enforce his thoughts. Suppliers and this and that and marketing and whatever. What is the difference between a network where you want to create reality and a network in which you want to detect reality?
What do you mean by detect?
Here, the actors of the network just get what is in the world. Just get it. This is what I would call, in your jargon, a sensor network. That is a sensor network. You have sensors out there detecting the world and exchanging the knowledge through the market mechanism. The price, by the way, is set by Hayek, is a very important information about how things are going somewhere. If the price of oil goes up, it means that there is a problem in the Gulf. This is Hayek. But the price is a very good information for this. And the price usually goes around the network. The price, what you want, what you don't want. Here, and we'll talk more about this also with Andrea, we have a network of actuators. Here you have a group of people that are acting in order to create something. You have marketing people trying to create the feeling that the product is good. You have selling and commercial people trying to convince the others that the product is good. You have a lot of actuators. In the political party, you think there are people in committees and commissions trying to make it work. You have people acting to make it real. So, to change your own reality here, you need a network of actuators. You need to enroll, and there is a beautiful literature about this, enroll people in order to make it real. You need allies. You need to have people standing on your side, in your path. So, if you know this, we started from a network that is sensing the world that is out there. We said, well, there is uncertainty here. We have to work together. We build a hierarchy. We build a hierarchy, but what is out there becomes completely confused. So this hierarchy collapses and becomes a spaghetti organization here. And here it goes back in a kind of order in a network again. So the two things are connected. You can say that once you create a reality, you go back to that situation there. Everything is done there. Is it true that you need an insurance in your car? It's true. How much is true? From 0 to 1? 1. It's, sir? Was it written in nature or was it a product of somebody? Product of the network. Correct? How much is true that you have to pay taxes? From 0 to 1? Well, in Italy it's 0.5. Because the network of actuators didn't do such a great job here, so people think that there is still ambiguity on taxes. But it's true. That's an example. So on taxes, every time you work on taxes, you do something which is risky. 50% of people pay taxes usually, not 100. But those things, it's important. Those two extremes are connected. And when you think, from this will derive what is innovation, what is entrepreneurship, what is technology. So we'll go back to that. Please keep it in mind, at least this categorization. It's hard to say that there is an organization like that just. Even in a party, there are hierarchies. There are internal markets. What do you want, what you give, what you can do. It's different to say the organization is just a garbage can. I mean, how can you resist in a garbage can? Or, as you say, a garbage can. So you can use those lenses to look at the organization from different perspectives. If you think about your case studies, you can see the people doing the Concord as a market of people wanting to transact knowledge and put it together and do something that is profitable. You can see it as a hierarchy. You can see it as a garbage can. You can see it as an attempt to create a world in which your airplane is the best one. Please.
I want to ask, like in ambiguity too, the network of actuator, how that is created means like we talk about uncertainty, it was like from the routine, and ambiguity was from identity. In this, is it like because of the vision of the people?
Well, this is one point that we will go through in the future, which is called acronetwork theory. How do you create these kind of networks? But one of the main principles here is, of course, you gotta have a vision. So you have a vision. You got to enroll the others. Enrollment. Like when you go, you want to come in my army, okay? But of course, there is a problem of transaction. Because if I enroll you in my vision, you tell me, yes, but what is in there for me? So I have to step back a little bit. So my vision starts shaking a little bit. It might happen a lot of times that in the process to implement your vision is completely gone. The issues of how long can you stand with your vision. And the principle of enrollment and commitment, the fact that people are committed to your vision, makes this kind of organizations. And the stream of literature is called the acronetwork theory that studies exactly how organizations pull together people, enroll them in order to manipulate reality to make it real. Another example of this organization are lobbying organizations. And there are many. In Brussels, it's full of lobbying organizations.
Can we take one example of an organization that you know of, and we see that one example, one organization in these all lenses, just like 1 minute for each lenses. This organization, this part.
Well, I was making the example of the university, yeah? You can see the university as a market of knowledge and researchers. So there are good researchers, less good researchers, good professors, less good professors, and the best makes the publications. So the publication system is a big market. You do good, you publish. You don't publish. You can see it like that. You can see the university as a hierarchy. Somebody has been saying there is a rector, there are the deans, there are the head of departments, there are ordinary professor, associate professor, researchers, PhD, assistants. You have hierarchy there, and you have the functions. You can see it as a garbage can. There is a meeting one day, some professors are there are solutions at stake, there are fashions over there. We come out with a strategy called the digital strategy for 2020. Or the Trentino as a digital strategy, I don't know, whatever. But it's a kind of a garbage can, I tell you. I saw it. Sure, I can go on even specific on that. Well, you can see the university trying to create an environment, which is Trentino, that gives money to the university to live. How? Doing dissertations of the students that go to work in the companies, then they come back, they are employed in the companies. So, sorry, you see a lot of actions of the university to legitimize itself in the context and to shape the context, startups, non-startups, if it's successful to do so, in a way that becomes a research-intensive territory. One of the big issues of all the universities, or the big competition, is whether they are able to create, they call it the innovation leading environment, the knowledge-intensive whatever around you, the Silicon Valley, which is to create a world around you that becomes research-intensive, so you have a role. Now the University of Trento has a problem of legitimacy. Yeah? Saying, we are needed or not? Are we producing outcomes and value or not? The University of Trento, in my opinion, is between these two things now. There's a bit of ambiguity and an attempt. Because somebody could say, you exist because there is a world out there where you make better apples, not Apple computers, but apples. Or you create because you do high tech. But to make high tech, you need to attract here a lot of resources, brands, EITs, whatever, to make it true. In my opinion, University of Trento is in between these two parts now, as an evolution. If it becomes a Silicon Valley, then it goes back to that. Tourists. It's there, it's real. Now you can't really say it's real or not. Because if I ask how many startups are in Trentino, how many are there?
20.
How many real ones? Okay, sorry.
So there was this thing of the what's in there for me. And do you think that is still limited to the Ambiguity 2 situation, or is that like a transversal aspect of organizations?
Well, no, in general, there is always a kind of training. The network is always there. The
Because
problem
my
is
point is this: when we build an identity, sometimes we build the identity on the fact that nothing is there for me and I do things free. As in, not only free of charge, but also as in not expecting anything back from it. So, and I would say things like Red Cross are a big... I know it's getting really complex, but...
Complex. I know the Red Cross. The identity and the give and takes in terms of feeling an expert of the Red Cross, very fancy. I travel with the white car and the Red Cross. I know so many expats.
Okay, I didn't want to
Let
me take a much worse example I didn't want to make, but let's take Scouts, for example.
Even there?
Not really, because there's the famous thing where you are an old man. And that is perfect. I mean, the thing
because there is ambiguity still there.
I mean,
the world which is
how
true.
do you so do you think we can frame the what's in there for me even in those organizations that theoretically don't want anything back, or are they like in yet another category?
Look, I believe nobody belongs to an organization in the broader sense if there is not something back. Being money, as Martin was saying, being identity. I'm part of the club. It could be the hooligans. Let's go and kill the one of Manchester United. It could be a market, the gecko, give me money. But you always have something back. The problem is that along the transaction, when you get something back, That's something back is also that I want to change your vision. Okay, I come with you, but on this issue, I see it more like that. In that case, you have to transact on the vision, and so what the world should like. And this is the problem there. This is what happens in Pasteur, for those that will do Pasteur. You will see it a lot. Okay, I leave.
I want to add
Okay.
something about that. I think that it's more how to extract value from your organization and from your goal, and how this value is created and is used, and by whom is used this value. About the type of capital that an organization can produce or reproduce, that can be not only finance capital or money, but can be social capital, symbolic capital, because you are a brand, because you have some values that you want to transform in other kind of values, maybe money in some case. In other cases, you just want to spread your values into social capital, so to attract people into discounts, let's say. So it's how you transform this value and capital in some other thing.
Anyhow, to value, we'll dedicate a lecture to the issue of value, profit, money, identity, because there is a lot. I just tell you that these things looks abstract. When they do open innovation, which is one of the cases for Bill Gates and the others, you can put open innovation as I have a network of companies that detect the world and give me the best solution, or I have a network of companies that change the world according to what I want it to be. So you can see, for example, open innovation in two ways, and we'll talk about open innovation. Now, ask Andrea if you want to.
Yeah.
I repeat, for those that want to speak to me, 4:30, office 1-to-1. Okay. The result of the battle.
Okay. I used the same metrics of evaluation of the
matrix
using the past method, the one presented by Professor Marchese in his case. So, and first of all, both the groups were very good in presenting their vision and their idea on the case. There is a winner for me. There is the Boeing group, and now I explain a little why. I think that the Boeing group made a better introductory statement. It was more clear and more to the point. While during the engagement phase, both groups did very well, and both of the groups were all very engaged in the discussion and presented their ideas in a very profuse way. And the final statement also, the one from the Concord side had some hints, but it was a little poor, while the other, but also the one from Boeing did not convince me at all. So it's not there is not so much distance between the group, but I think that the Boeing one is the winner in this battle.
Okay, thank you for. Next time I will tell you my opinion about the battle, but this is the winner, and on the other side, just one thing before you go, please watch a movie next week with Lost in Translation. Okay?
We can watch it on the bus, on the plane.
Okay?
You can download it tonight.